Affinity Photo 2 is the best free art software to make digital illustrations if you're looking for an alternative to Procreate, and if I were you, I'd go ahead and download it right now. In this video, I'm going to walk you through everything you need to know in order to start using Affinity Photo 2 for the iPad for digital illustration as quickly and clearly as possible so you can decide if this art software is right for you. And it is truly free according to their website and my experience with downloading this and getting my own subscription. Even though when you open up the Affinity apps on your iPad, you are greeted with a message saying, start your 7-day free trial. And you might think, wait, I thought this was free. Here's what actually happens. When you tap that option, you're taken to a purchase screen that shows a price of $0. From what I can see, there's no recurring subscription created. If you check your Apple subscriptions afterward, you won't see Affinity listed as something that's going to start charging you again later. So you can start using the app without any surprise charges, and you can decide if this is the art software that you want to start using, if it fits your workflow, and how you like to create art. So now that you've downloaded the app and activated your free license, let me go ahead and show you how to use the app. Affinity Photo 2 is technically a photo editing app, but just like Photoshop, it's also a powerful tool for digital illustration. It includes everything you'd expect for illustration work: layers, blending modes, painting tools, and professional color formats. What really sets it apart, though, is that it also includes vector design tools, something that Procreate just doesn't offer. But what we're going to focus on today is how to use Affinity Photo 2 for digital illustrations and the tools that you'll want to learn, how to navigate to them, and how to use them in this app. The home screen is like your gallery, and it's the launching point for all your projects or documents. You start by tapping on New and selecting New Document. This is where you will choose the size of your canvas, its color format and profile. You also want to choose if you want your canvas to be landscape or portrait here. And for my illustration today that I'm going to use as an example, I'm going to choose social media portrait post and let all of the settings stay default. So once you open that up, the interface for your new document has a lot of tools. This is what sets it apart from Procreate and makes it a lot more like Photoshop. This icon here allows you to switch between what Affinity calls personas. They are like workspaces for a specific type of workflow. When you're creating a digital illustration, you'll just need to stay in the photo persona. The icon with the 3 lines is the options menu, which is just like a typical file menu on most software. This is where you can export, make settings changes to your canvas, etc. The 3 dots are the different editing options, like where you will find the copy and paste options and group, merge, rearrange, and even rasterize layers. Then these dotted squares are just the different selection tools. The magnifying glass is the zoom. However, you can always use the pinch gestures to zoom in and out, just like in Procreate. This little windshield wiper icon is the preview button. When you open up the menu next to it, you can set margins and guides for your canvas. The magnet is the snapping tool, and you can turn it on and off by just tapping on the icon, but then you can fine-tune your snapping settings by opening up the menu and then choosing snapping options, and then you can adjust the settings how you like it. The right side panel is actually what they call studios in Affinity speak. The top one is the color studio. You can switch between the color wheel or swatches, and then this is where you can keep your own swatches for a project. The next one is the Layer Studio. This is where you can control each of the layers in your project. To create a layer for illustrating, you will tap on the plus and choose a pixel layer. You adjust the opacity of the layer here and change the blending mode by tapping on the arrows to toggle between the different ones, or just tap on it to open its menu and make your blending mode selection that way. You can just tap through them and see which one you like. The next one is the Brush Studio. This is where all of your brushes live, and you can see all of the default brush selections by tapping on the brush type name. Unfortunately, you aren't able to import Procreate or Photoshop brushes. It looks like Affinity uses its own file type called a .af brushes file. The other side panel studios are adjustments, filters, layer effects, text, metadata, color channels, macros, assets, stock images, and a resource manager. And then a transform studio for making image adjustments, a navigator studio, and a history of everything you've done on your canvas. And then I love this little help button. You can press and hold and it will show the name of each tool in Studio. So I guess it just did what took me 5 minutes to explain. Anyway, moving on. The left side panel is your tools panel. This is where you'll select your different tools for editing your images or illustrations. The different tools here are more typical of what you'd find in Photoshop, and they are laid out in much the same way. At the top here is the View tool and the Move tool. This one is the color picker, then the crop tool, the object selection tool, the selection brush, and the flood select, or this is like the magic wand tool. And then there is the marquee selection tool, the flood fill, or AKA the color drop or the paint can tool, and then a gradient tool. Once you get to the paintbrush tool, you get to the tools that you'll most likely be using to create your digital illustrations. After the paintbrush, there's the eraser, the color burn brush, the clone stamp, and this one is undo. Then this is the pen tool, used to make vector designs. The pen allows you to set anchor points to create a path of a vector design, which is pretty much a game changer in my book. Next are the shape tools, and there's a huge list of vector shapes that are pre-made. You don't have to make every shape from scratch. And then there are the artistic text tool and the frame text tool. If a tool has this little caret in the corner of the icon, it can be opened up to switch to a different related tool. When you're using tools like the paintbrush tool and the eraser tool, you can change the settings like size, opacity, accumulation, hardness, flow using these sliders. The dot indicates that it has another setting you can change by tapping on it. If you want to adjust the stabilization and motion filtering of your paintbrush, you won't be able to change it like in the brush studio like in Procreate. You'll just need to switch on a stabilizer at the top. Then you go back down to the sliders and switch the width to window on the bottom brush slider and adjust the slider so it stabilizes your brush stroke how you like it. So once you feel comfortable enough with this interface, you can just start illustrating. The first thing I suggest doing is making sure your canvas is unlocked so you can rotate it freely. Tap on this icon and you'll open up the navigator. Make sure this little lock is unlocked. This allows you to use the pinch gestures to rotate your canvas. The other helpful tap gestures you can use are the 2-finger tap for undo and the 3-finger tap for redo. The next thing I think is important to learn is how to make a color palette. For the illustration I'm making, I want to use the same color palette I've used for this original character. I've illustrated him in Procreate many times, so what I've done is create a screenshot of the color palette from Procreate. Now I just want to import it into Affinity so I can make a color palette out of that in this program. To import the screenshot, I'll go to Options, Place, and then insert my image from my photo gallery. Now I just need to color pick the swatches. To do that, open up the Color Studio, switch to Palettes at the bottom, tap on the 3 lines for the options, and then choose Add Document Palette or Application Palette if you want this color palette to be available on other projects as well. Now you can use this color picker to hover over each color. Once the color picks up, you'll need to tap on the color next to the picker so it's in focus, and then tap on the options and then choose Add Current Fill to Palette. Now that I'm ready with my color palette, I'll add a new pixel layer for my sketch. Just like any other digital art program, you can keep your sketch separate so you can adjust the opacity later and then get rid of it when you're done. From the brushes panel, I'm just going to choose a simple pencil and start sketching directly on this layer. I'm not worrying about clean lines yet. It's just about blocking in my shapes and proportions. If I need to adjust anything, I'll choose the eraser tool or the lasso tool to quickly move or reshape parts of the sketch. And then once I'm happy with the sketch, I'll go ahead and lower the opacity of the layer. Then I'll create a new pixel layer above that for my line art. I'm switching to a clean round brush, something that has consistent pressure, and I'm going to start tracing over my sketch with confident lines. And if you're not happy with the lack of motion filtering in the brush, you can go ahead and turn on a stabilizer, but I'm going to move a little more quickly than I do in Procreate so it doesn't pick up the subtle motions of my hand, and I'm going to get cleaner lines. If I make a mistake, I can undo or use the eraser tool, and I can zoom in as needed using the pinch gestures for better control. When I'm done, I can hide the sketch layer completely, leaving just the clean line art layer. Now I'll create another new pixel layer and place it below my line art layer for color. I'm going to choose from the gouache brushes to paint in my colors. Instead of just color dropping in my colors, I want to manually paint it, staying underneath the line art so everything stays clean. And to add shading and highlights, you can create clipping masked layers and use use the blending modes. Create a new pixel layer, and when you tap and hold, place it on top of the color layer you want to clip it to. Then tap in the blending modes and choose the one you want. I want to add shading, so I'm going to choose multiply. Then I'll just paint in my shading with that original color. From here, I can add additional layers for highlights or texture using the different blending modes for different color effects. And I just use all of these features to complete my illustration. And that is the basic workflow in Affinity Photo 2. Sketching on one layer, clean line art on another layer, and the color built up underneath using the paint tools. So if you were to ask me, I feel that Procreate is really best for beginners. The interface is simple and it's a bit cleaner and more focused, and it's easier to pick up right away. But if you want a professional level art app, one that also supports vector design and more advanced workflows, and you want something that you can use for free, then Affinity Photo 2 for the iPad is the much stronger choice. Even if you're not interested in the photo editing features or even the vector design features, you can still comfortably work around them. A lot of the tools that you're going to use for digital illustration just happen to be used for photo editing. And if you're ready to start using Affinity Photo 2 for your next art project, go ahead and tap into this video and let me help you come up with a really great idea of what to make.